Kindred debate when exactly the Week of Nightmares fell, with some claiming it landed just prior to the turn of the millennium, while others conflate it with a supposed commencement of Gehenna. In truth, the Week of Nightmares sprawled across years, sweeping up several thousand vampires in its wave. During the week, an impossibly ancient vampire arose and purged its own clan. The Ravnos, thin-blooded vampires, emerged with omens and portents as the red star, Anthelios, blazed in the night sky. You witnessed the mania of the Week of Nightmares and survived it, manipulated the chaos to your own advantage, or you studied the actions of those who did. Now you watch for signs of dooms to come. Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and welcome back to our World of Darkness. And tonight, we're going to go over the Week of Nightmares lore sheet, which can be found in the core book for Vampire the Masquerade. The Week of Nightmares was an event that does actually have set dates. You can find it in the Fall of Atlanta series, which is also the 13-part clan novel series. But was that just the kicking off point? Was that the final climax to something that had been building? There's so many ways of looking at it, but there were 7 days, in fact, that did cause madness to reign in the year 1999, towards the end of summer. This lore sheet helps you to associate your character with that, as either a survivor or a scholar. So let's go ahead and jump in and see what this lore sheet gives those who decide to take it. Investing 1 dot into this lore sheet gets you oral history. You've heard and told the tales of the Week of Nightmares countless times, and you know exactly what to embellish and which parts to conceal. Your telling of the tale is popular in Elysia, where you are sometimes invited to speak as historian and entertainer. Important kindred from all over come to hear your retelling. Add 3 dice to performance dice pools to tell the story. I've always enjoyed this one very much. This was one I took always when I didn't know exactly how lore sheets were supposed to work. when I thought you could just take whatever you could afford, I would always grab this one. But the Week of Nightmares lore sheet, specifically this one right here, just making it so that you're kind of like a local celebrity who gets invited to the Elysium to tell the story for an entertainment purpose in Elysium to people is just, that's so entertaining to me. And it also opens up what kind of thing you'll find during an Elysium event. The idea of modern Knights Kindred hiring effectively bards to come in and sing the songs of the past is just, I don't know, that's just something that I personally enjoy. 5th edition really does feel like a Dark Age game in a modern setting in a lot of ways. Investing 2 dots into this lore sheet gets you Ravnos Remains. Prior to the Week of Nightmares, the Ravnos were a clan. Now, they have little more than a bloodline. You know some Ravnos remnants, and perhaps share their grudge against the gangrel who left them to annihilation. You have 3 dots of Mala, representing this group of contacts. They carry news and warnings to you, and can perhaps be convinced to cast mighty illusions once per chronicle. But association with them is frowned upon if discovered. I find Ravnos Remains to be very, very interesting, primarily because when the Player's Guide came out, we then got access to the Ravno as a playable clan. Their numbers are rising. But I really see the Ravno that can be played by players as Ravno who are here now. You know, the new blood. I see them as new Ravno. The Ravno, I'm just going to go into this. The Ravno have a very tumultuous history as far as World of Darkness storytelling goes. They are a cultural offbeat that have been thrown into the gutter time and time again, even when they try to fix the fact that that people were being culturally insensitive or anything like that when they were building this clan up. Because Vampire the Masquerade used to be built on culture. You could tell where the clans came from just by reading their descriptions. The Brujah came from Crete. The Gangrel were Norse. The Tzimisce were Eastern European. Like, you can tell where everybody came from. And the Ravno have been shuffled around so many times to try to cover up mistakes as far as writing goes. And a lot of people are still just trying to like erase everything. And I see the tumultuous history of the Ravno as a growing point. They did start off as a gypsy line, and as their travels came around, they got more involved in Hindi culture. And I see them shifting around because that's what the Ravno did. Not bonding them to any specific human culture. They now are free as tricksters and travelers to completely own the night of the World of Darkness in their own fashion. However, this lore sheet point gives you those old Ravno, the ones who survived the Week of Nightmares, who still have those cultural bonds. These Ravno are not player character Ravno. They're not the same thing, in my opinion. And of course, as a storyteller, I take my opinion very seriously when I'm telling my stories. But other people are going to have their own opinions. And this right here opens up being able to have contact with older Ravno who know things that the newer Ravno would not. Can open up some very interesting story beats. Investing 3 dots into this lore sheet gets you I was there. You didn't just hear about it. You were on the front line. Your reputation as a survivor and on-the-spot veteran of the Week of Nightmares grants you status among Kindred historians, occultists, Ravno, and Gehenna cultists alike. Once per story, you can use this status to earn a minor boon from one of those groups, or from a prominent courtier in the domain with a sudden interest. So you gain boons due to your popularity, due to your personal celebrity as being a survivor of the Week of Nightmares. Having an interesting story that goes with the Week of Nightmares is going to be coming part and parcel for this. You need to think about why exactly you survived, how exactly you survived, what was your play in the Week of Nightmares. And storytellers are going to have to rein you in on some of your imaginative exploits. You need to work with your storyteller on this and figure out how you were involved. But the benefits, having some sudden courtier or some Ravno or some cultist who you're able to get a boon from, that's useful. Boons are always useful. Investing 4 dots into this lore sheet gets you the Red Star. Anthelios, NASA designation 28978, IXION, called Wormwood, harbinger of Gehenna, still glows in the sky, to your eyes, at least. You believe it looks back at you, changing you somehow. Once per story, you can either reduce your hunger to a rating of 2, or gain a die to the pools of 1 discipline for the night by staring at the star for 10 minutes. I'm always interested in bringing up Wormwood or Anthelios. The Red Star, I've always said as a storyteller since V5 came out, that if you have Sense the Unseen, you can still see it in the sky. This one right here says that it still shines in the sky, to you at least. The idea that you can look at a star for 10 minutes and also reduce your hunger to 2, dropping it from wherever it was. You could have been 3, 4, 5. You are dropping it to 2 at that point in time. Can get you out of a lot of trouble, because hunger can cause problems. I've started many a game on a failed feeding scene. But also being able to add dice to a discipline for the night is very useful. I like that a lot. Investing 5 dots into this lore sheet gets you Blood of Zapathasura. The Ravno Antediluvian met final death in July 1999 at the hands of parties unknown, armed with advanced weaponry and the power of the sun. Before he died, he drained Vitae from all his clan, driving them to frenzy and cannibalism in his death throes. Thick, sentient ropes of his Vitae stained the ground in Bangladesh where he fell. The noonday sun did not destroy it all. You own a small vial containing the blood of the Ravno Antediluvian. What you do with this Vitae is up to you, and what it does to anyone who imbibes it is up to the storyteller. Game-changing item. This is effectively a relic. You have the blood of the Ravno Antediluvian, which is somehow still alive even though they have been killed. This is what happens at the death of an Antediluvian. Its blood persists. I could not have timed that thunder any better, and I hope it popped up on this. I've utilized the Blood of Zapathasura in my game, and I've been happy with the results. It wasn't anything that was noticed by anybody except for the character who imbibed it. I had a ministry member who drank it, and we basically restatted her character as a Ravno. She kept her generation. She just basically switched from Setite to Ravno. It was very amazing. But it was a lot of fun, the way that it came out. This could really be used in any fashion that you wanted it to be used in. And it really is up to the imagination of the storyteller of how they are either going to reward you or punish you for utilizing this blood in some fashion. The Week of Nightmares lore sheet is open to interpretation with a lot of things. It brings you celebrity, it brings you relics, and it brings you many things in between. So how you plan on using this one really does bring up the imaginative processes of both the storyteller and the player, and how they can work together to figure out exactly what kind of tale they want to tell. I am Voivode Maquette, and thank you for joining me in this telling of the Week of Nightmares lore sheet for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition tabletop. And I cannot wait to get to the next one. Good evening.